Hi everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Freakin' Jeep and Toys Garage. Today we're going to do a intake swap. Pretty common. Most people use just a regular HO intake or to replace their standard, which gives you a little bump in horsepower. Not much, but works well when you use HO cams. So let's take a look, follow along, and let's have a little fun. If you got any questions, leave a comment below. Make sure you like and subscribe too. All right, the first thing we did, I took the air cleaner off. Next, we're going to start taking all these coils out, unplugging injectors. We're going to have to take the fuel rail out, so we'll probably pull the alternator, the AC pump off, put them aside so that we can get in there. We'll have to disconnect the fuel rail and some of these hoses. So I'm going to pull some of that out and I'll bring you guys back then. Okay, so far you can see I've removed the throttle body. Took the alternator off and the belt. Next, we're going to be trying to get these coils out. You can see I've got the wiring harness pulled out, laid aside. I tucked the wire harness down to the side to keep it out of the way. I unhooked the lines to the throttle body and the intake. Cruise control, the evap lines. Pull the coils out. Next we'll move to the other side and start taking all the coils out and the fuel. On the passenger side here you can see I've disconnected all the fuel injectors and the coils. I've pulled the coils out. I have one left, and now you'll work on pulling these fuel injector bolts out. This one and this one. Then we'll disconnect the fuel rail. Then we can pull the whole fuel injector rail out, set it on a bench. It'll be a little closer than to getting it out. Also, I started taking the bolts out for the dipstick, so that's loose. There's two more bolts out I have to get for the throttle linkages. That has to be disconnected also. There's one up on top and one on the back side. And the one down here I took off already. Alright, now you can see I've got the fuel injector rail out. There's all kinds of room to get to the intake bolts. We got these and the ones on the other side to take out. Got one bolt left on the throttle linkage, and we'll pull that out and we'll be able to get this slid out. Okay. Here you can see what we're going to need for gaskets. 8 intake runner gaskets. They're rubber. Throttle body gasket, which we should replace. Yes, these are dirty. They're used. There's only 10,000 miles on this engine though. So these are still soft and usable. We will need a T, vacuum T. If you look at the stock intake here, there's 3 ports. Got brake, evap, and cruise control. If you look at the HO intake, there's only 2 ports. We're missing the 3rd one. So we'll put a T on that other port on top so we can catch a cruise control vacuum. Alright, you can see we got the new throttle body gasket in. We can slide this thing in. So being careful not to knock the O-rings off or the seals off the bottom. It's a little bit of a tight fit, but you wiggle it, jiggle it, pops right in. Now we'll bolt it in there, tightening it up. This line here has to get routed behind all those dipsticks and wire harness, and it comes around the bottom of the valve cover to the oil fill cap. Gets hooked up to the PCV valve. Once we got it all routed in there and put back together. Okay, as you can see, I've put much of it back together. I've got all the coils in. Made sure I put the fuel rail in first, lubing up the injectors. Got the wires all laid back in place. Everything is plugged back in. All we have left is to put the throttle body on and put the front of the engine back together from the side project. Okay, as you can see, we've got it all back together. Everything's put back in place, belt on, bolts are tight. Did a double check on all my bolts, make sure I don't have anything left over. Let's try this thing, give it a start up. Well, as you can tell, it starts right up. Sounds like it runs good. We're going to clean up some tools and take this thing out on the road. See what this new intake feels like with these cams.